Hey everybody, this is Robert from Ice Morphs. Uh, this video isn't so much about the snakes, but so much about how I keep my rodent feeders. In the past, I used to have like a single container or several containers for like mice and rats, and I always encountered a problem. And ultimately, it came down to long-term storage for all the mice or rats that didn't get fed off in the first week or week and a half of feedings for the ball pythons originally, and this is before the boas. But we all know that the boas eat frozen thawed. But for the long-term storage of all the rodents that weren't fed off initially, I had the worst problem. Despite having available food and water, I would always end up with some casualties. Sometimes the rats and mice would cannibalize each other, even though there was food and water available. I think it came down to maybe being overcrowded and maybe competition from the males and the females. But every now and then I would end up having to fish out a dead rat or a dead mouse that had been eaten pretty much from head to tail, and it'd create quite a stink. So I had to rethink about the housing situation for them. But took me a bit, but because I'm a frequent customer to Reptile Basics Inc, that's based out of High Point, North Carolina, I've finally broken down and gotten some of these medium and large rat breeding tubs. These are like the laboratory grade. You got like little mesh, 1/8" mesh cover with little slots for the water balls to be put in. You can even put in like a 200 milliliter or 500 milliliter water bottles, and you'd have access to water that won't get polluted by waste or the debris from the bedding. And then they got the larger spots for where you can put like a pellet feed. And the pellet feed I also have is also from Reptile Basics. I got a bag of like the 44-pound rodent diet stuff. And so far, this system is a blessing, because after getting these through 2 different shipments over a course of a month and a half, I have not had to deal with any losses due to cannibalism or overcrowding. At the most, with these medium-sized ones, I could put 2 or 3 rats, usually mediums or smalls, in the medium ones, and down here in the large ones, I can usually put a couple of mediums per box, and only ever have to change out the bedding every so often. But this stuff actually works a lot better than what I was using in the past. Mostly I was just using like Sterilite tubs, high wall tubs, and stuff like that, because I wanted to keep the food longer and alive and contained to such a degree that they couldn't get out. So, but I plan on getting a couple more of the larges, like the ones down there at the bottom, and a couple more of the large 500 milliliter bottles, because they hold a lot of water, and I can usually just end up having to refill them like maybe once a week, if that, but it's really depending on how many I have left over. But this has definitely helped me prolong and enrich the rodents a little bit, because the food actually plumps them up a little bit. So it actually makes themselves a better meal to what I feed to the snakes. And right now, I can't sing the praises of Reptile Basics enough. I mean, look what I got. I got 2 VE6s for the juveniles and neonates for the future. And then I got 2 VE Super 70s. Well, I got a 3-rack one on top of a 5-rack one. And then you all know what the boas are in. They're in the 4x2 by 1 enclosures. And we all know that Athena on the bottom is going to have to get into one of the 4x2 by 18 inch ones. Because right now it doesn't look like I'll be able to get the 6-foot ones from RBI unless I have to drive down there. And that's 4 hours from where I'm at here in Virginia. So, but as you can see, of the 16 mediums I started off this month, I am down to just these measly little 2 ones. And they're not doing so bad. And I've got 1 hopper left that's sitting pretty on a lot of food and a lot of water. But come next week, I'll probably have these guys filled up again with more rats, and I'll have more videos for feedings. Other than that, well, smooth cruising. Alright, have a good day. Like, subscribe, share, whatever. Peace.